Hi everyone, welcome. And today we are going to learn about microservices. What exactly is microservices? What are the different type of architecture in the microservices? And then I will tell you some quick introduction about myself. Who am I and why I am doing this? What is my mission? What is my values? Then we will discuss about the benefits and drawbacks of monolithic and microservices. Then how you will convert your existing monolithic application into microservices. All of this we are going to talk. Other than this, then we will talk about the service discovery, client side discovery, server side discovery, what is service registry, what is Eureka service registry, and then maybe in the next section we will be talking about how we will be doing the practical demo of those service registry, because in this today's 40 minute probably we will not able to finish everything, but in the next weekly webinar we will have the demo whatever we are going to discuss today. So let's have the discussion or session to be started. So I'm just quickly going to the next screen. Okay, so yeah. So first we are going to talk about monolithic and microservices architecture and what exactly is monolithic, what exactly is microservices. But before starting this, let me introduce myself. 1 second. Yeah. So my introduction is my name is Anu Persist, and I have been working in software industry from last 16 plus years, and still I'm working. And this is my LinkedIn profile. And I have worked in top investment banks like JP Morgan, Royal Bank of Scotland, and many interesting product-based companies in different domains. And mostly my work was around technology. This platform is dedicated towards sharing my knowledge and experience whatever I have gained in this many years into the software industry. And my goal is to mentor the software professional to grow in their career at next levels. I am on a mission to nurture 1 million software professionals to transform in their career to next level in India and abroad. And while doing all of this, while building my tribe, I follow these values and principle, and I will make sure whoever is joining my tribe, they follow all of this. The first principle I trust. Trust is the one factor which I believe. Then transparency, honesty, helping each other, and respectful and humbleness. I will not go deep about how we will build the trust and all. Those things we will discuss in our weekly calls or in our Facebook group and Telegram groups. Okay, so let's go and talk about monolithic and microservices architecture in detail. So first we will talk about what exactly is monolithic application architecture. And my I am trying to give you some glimpse how it works. So what happens here in this diagram, you see one shopping cart application which has three different module: order, payment, and shipping. And each module is a having its own complex logic. It have a big system. So what happens, it has one web interface or nice UI where user enter the or order the some items into the shopping cart, then he makes some payment, and then order gets shipped to the his address. So that is in general workflow. Now what happens while doing so far in monolithic application type of architecture, what happens, we build this whole thing in this box, means everything, all the code will be placed inside in one jar file or one big fat build file, and then it will be deployed either in some virtual machine or some cloud environment. But the challenge is, if anything we need to change that. So let's say we have big billion day sale, and we see there will be a lot of orders, and we want to scale only the order module. Uh, then it's not that easy, because you need to retest while changing something in the order module. We need to make sure that it is not affecting. Sorry, just slide by move. I mean, this slide little moved. So yeah. So what will happen if order is coming more? There is no way I can make sure that there is no impact on other modules. So we need to retest our full application. We need to redeploy. and even this whole application will have one database. So even if database is down, then full application also gets shut down. So that is the existing kind of application we used to build. Then other than this, we saw whole application either you will develop in Java or .NET or any other programming language. So and then front end, whatever the web UI is tightly coupled to all these modules. So if there is any change in the order or web UI, you need to make sure that all other features or components are working properly and there is no impact while doing this thing. So that is I'm just giving you overview of existing monolithic application architecture. And now slowly we will go into the next slide, how it is not helping for us and what happens when you divide this application into microservices architecture, how it will help, what kind of benefit we will get. So we will talk about all of this. So let's go to the next slide, which is kind of microservice of the same type of architecture, but here what kind of different thing you will see in this particular architecture. So you see order, shipping, and payment. These became, instead of a big bundle, they became a different independent service. You forget about what exactly microservice for time being, but you treat them now. The shipping cart application is deployed as a separate module or which we are calling service now, and a separate service, and each have its own database. So if this database is down, it will not impact anything on the shipping or payments. So basically, if something we need to change on the order, it will, we need to redeploy or we need to change or test only in the order service. It will not impact anything in the shipping and payment. So it becomes basically totally independent. And we will talk about the gateways and all in the coming section. But what will happen now? You have multiple interface. You can have the mobile app also to be developed. You can have web UI application like React or Angular, and all these can hit your request through gateway, and this gateway will go or span your request into multiple service, whatever user requested, and then it goes to the corresponding database. So it's very easy, because let's say if big billion there are more orders, you will only work on the order service. You will scale this service to serve more customer, but you don't need to worry about shipping or payments. So all those things are possible because of microservices. Now we will see in further uh, you know section that how we will design these services, how we will make sure that we are designing the right way, we have the proper boundary which we call the bounded context, all of this part of this series. But yeah, let's understand how we are doing. Okay, so sorry, this keyboard is working or what? Yeah, microservice now. So now first question comes, like, how you will convert your monolithics to microservices. If any existing application in the bank or in your software company or anywhere, like you see they are already mostly 90% application today is monolithic, and all companies are investing a lot in the technology to convert them into microservices. But the question comes, how you will convert. So there are different techniques, and this is very big topic which I will cover in the separate section. But just to give you some hint to start with, the first will be, it will be based on domain and functionality. So basically, there is one concept called domain driven design, which we call DDDD. Based on that, we decide and we design our application. It is mostly dividing your application based on your domain, based on your business and functionality, not based on your technology, not based on developer think this will be right. So that is the heart of this design. And then there are different patterns to apply, like strangler pattern. We will talk about all these. Then stop digging, then extract out different services and modules, then split front end and back end differently, or design with data models. There are many techniques like this. Those, we will be covering in different sections. And then I already told, all this I will be covering in different sections. This section was not about that, but I just written just to give you some hint so that it connects when I come back to this section later on. Okay, Now you see on the screen, I have just designed this kind of mind map. You put this mind map on your wall and you will always remember monolithic and microservice, why and where to apply all of that. So first I said, like, when to use monolithics. If you are running some small POC, or if your project is very small, then you don't need to design everything into microservices. It's very easy. If you are very small team and they are unexperienced and you don't have the experience in the microservice, you should not go with the microservice. You should always be happy with the monolithics, and then slowly start evolving your team and then plan all of that. What benefit you will get if you using the monolithic, because it's very easy to develop. If your application is start is and very small, then very easy to testing, easily you can develop that kind of application. And then there are problems which we already discussed. Even for a smallest change, you have to test all the modules. Even for single line code change, you have to redeploy full application again. And impact of one small feature in your application is huge, and you need to make sure all the features uh, is working and customer is not impacted. And it's very difficult to scale. So if you want to scale only the order service, it is not possible. When you will scale, the full application will be scaled, and then you don't know where your customer is getting served, whether you scale the shipping also, you scaled payment also, you scaled order service also. But we want only the more requirement in the order service, so it will not be. And so that means you will be spending more and getting less result wherever the focused result you require. So all these are the problems. When you go into microservice, what will happen? The first we will talk about, when to use microservice. If your application is so big and it is becoming hard to manage over the time, then slowly you should start thinking about microservices. When any new greenfield project you are starting, means starting a project from scratch, you should think only microservices, not about monolith. And then if your application you want to design based on your domain, if you want to move your application into the cloud like AWS or GCP or any other cloud platform, private or public, you can plan all into the microservices, because all the microservices application mostly are cloud ready by default. And then if you are fast, want to build your product and services very fast way, and you want to serve customer, then you should go with this agile principle. It aligned with agile principle, so you should go with microservices. And then managing independent services efficiently, and you can have separate team for each service. All those things you can do with microservices. When it comes about advantage, uh, we already know with that diagram, but it's just like reiterating. So you can tell me now, what are the advantage. And you can see here on the screen that it's very easy, or independent services, it's very easy to manage. You can easily deploy, you can easily fix the problem, and each service can be in different technology stack also. One service you can develop in Java, one you can develop in Node.js. If it evolving technology is coming. So let's say tomorrow you see the Python is becoming famous, and you find a lot of features Python can give you, and it is faster. So then you can switch to Python as well, one of the service. So all these possible with the microservices. And when I talk about disadvantage, so the problem with the microservices architecture is it has all the nature of distributed system. And distributed system, the biggest problem is networks. So if there is any latency in the network, so one call goes to another service, there could be some delay. If one call goes, the payment, before coming to payment, it goes from order. So order to payment, whatever is coming, and if there is payment gateways failure, then it's very hard to track. So you should have very strong and robust logging system. You should have very end-to-end testing whenever you are deploying. And if there is any failure in the whole ecosystem, then it's very hard to trace all of that. So all these things you need to make sure it's there. And also it's a cultural change. It's a new way of solving problem, new way of designing problem. So you need to be very sure that all of this you are covering. Okay, and these are the disadvantages. While, but I will say 90% or maybe more, all the applications are going to be developed in microservices. All companies are rewriting their application to serve customer in better way. And monolithics will only, if you are a very small startup and you don't have that much time and resources and all of that, then you can choose monolithics. But if you are becoming bigger, like if I give you example of phone pay or Google Pay, they looks like very small app on your mobile, but they are so huge behind in the architecture. If you see their architecture, they are very huge and they are using all microservices, including Netflix to Google to all of the big companies. They cannot survive without microservices in today's world. So yeah, and you can, like Facebook, you have to deploy your features every day or every week. That kind of faster development only can be done and can be sustained with the microservices. Okay, so now before we develop full end-to-end application, let me start with some building blocks which you will be keep hearing and terminology when you are becoming a microservices expert. So the first thing we will talk about today is what is service discovery. And when I say service discovery, basically the name itself says when you want to discover the services, means when the client want to find the services, that is service discovery. But the question comes, why we are discovering? Why can't a client already know that I need to go on google.com or that particular server? So there are different services will be deployed, and then I need to call order service need to call payment. Let's say after order I need to call payment. I already know that where need I need to call there. But the challenge in the real life and cloud environment is that today my application is deployed on some port number or some IP number, but tomorrow, if I change that, then again I need to redeploy or rechange my configuration, which is not the practical. And when we are going into the AWS or any kind of cloud solution, you can have 10 different instances of the same service. So in that kind of architecture, it's not possible to have hardwired configuration. So what service discovery help us? We will discover that service by its name. So something if I tell you google.com, instead of google.com, you search by its IP and that IP changing, you can't do that. But if I tell you whatever happening behind the scene, you don't worry. You will always search with google.com or you will always search with techieswalk.com. So that way it will make sure that you always have a the unique name. Through that you can find all the services. Okay, so even the location keep changing, even network IP address keep changing, you don't need to worry. So that is that part of discovery is maintained by service registry. And searching something in the service registry we call the service discovery. So I think it's clear, and when we go into the practical demo and all, we will try to go more detail, and I will try to help you to make it more clear. But yeah, just for to start with. Okay, so now how the client can serve the services. So this is client, and there are services. How this client will request here. So there are two ways. One is the client side discovery, and one is the server side discovery. Now let's understand what is client side discovery. So when I say client side discovery, what happens? If you see, this is service registry where we maintain the inventory of all the services. So service A and service B both are registered in this service registry. So that is the first feature. Now I am a client. I'm a client called service A. I want to discover this service B. So I should go to the service registry, and service registry will find the service B for me. But then what happened? There are different approach. Instead of doing that, a client says, "Hey, I already know where service registry. Can't I directly search this guy?" Okay, so it is possible. And how it happens? The client, which is service A here, is you need to make sure it is it's not a big screen, but what I written here, the client has to be enabled for the HTTP request, basically request aware HTTP client. Yeah, so client has to be aware on the request aware HTTP client means I need to do some annotation here. Now what will happen? I go and find this service. So all the responsibility of finding this service B is on this particular client. Or let's say you have more services like payment, like what do you call order service or inventory service, and they want to find like let's say logging service. So all these clients can find this service if they are aware on this HTTP client aware. So if that is they are aware, we need to put annotation in our code, and then it makes sure that your client can discover that particular service. So the only thing client will do, client will make sure that it is finding that particular. But now when client will query to services registry, which is just database of available instances, the client, this client is using this load balancer. Basically, it's a load balancer algorithm to select one of the available. So this service can have multiple instances. So all these can be found by this particular way. So that is we call the client side discovery. So you understand. I mean, you will find the difference between client side and server side. So server side, what will happen? This service will not be having this feature. But what will happen? Service will send the request to service registry, and the service registry will have internally load balancer here, which will go and find the service key. That's the only difference instead of you are doing. Okay. So now let's go to the server side discovery. So here client make request to service via a load balancer, and yeah, I could have the diagram here, but yeah, I am just going back to the same diagram so that you understand. But what it says, yeah, what it says, instead of remove, you just remove this thing, and then service A come to service registry, which have load balancer here, and it will find the service B. That's the, and then this link will not required because you will be already going to service registry. So here client is free, he don't need to worry, everything will be managed by service registry. So that is server side discovery. Okay, so yeah, and then we already seen in client side discovery, service instance are registered and deregistered with the service registry. And example of service side discovery is AWS Elastic Load Balancer, Nginx, and Nginx Plus. They have this feature inbuilt. Okay, now I will talk about service registry. What exactly is service registry? So service registry is nothing but it's an important part how the services will be discovered. So service registry help in this discovery process. And what it does, service registry is like a phone book where you maintain all your phone records with name and number. So similarly, the service registry maintains all the inventory about the services. What is service name? What is the service IP? What instances it is running? All this information is maintained by this service registry. What IP it is running? What is the network location? Everything it has. And then if one service instance is down, then it makes sure it knows the other service instance using the load balancer inside this service registry. So we need to make sure that we have the right kind of service registry, and that's why the Netflix Eureka was very famous because it's having all these features. So service instances need to be highly available and up to date so that if any change happen, it is updated into the service registry. So client side, if client can cache network locations obtained from service registry, and this information can become out of date and clients become unable to discover the service. So service registry consists of a cluster of services that uses a replication protocol to maintain consistency. Okay. So what I'm trying to say here, if client is caching some network location, and if service goes out, then this will not be served. In that case, if we have the right kind of service registry, it will make sure that it will replicate other place also. If this place is not synced, the other will serve to the client, and it will be always perfect. Also, just to let you know, the AWS and Kubernetes, they don't have separate service registry, but it's inbuilt into their infrastructure. Okay, so that is about services. Before going further, I just want to ask if any queries or anything, please write in the chat box, or after the session, if you have more queries, we can answer. But yeah, meanwhile, if you say, please write in the chat box. Okay, so I'll move to the next slide. Okay, so while registering your services, you have multiple options. How I will register my services? So what happened? One is the self-registry option. So let's say I have order service, I have a payment service, I have a what is the third one? Like the shipping service. All I want to register into a service registry. So it can be done using different methods. So the first method is self-registration option. It means if I am a order service, I will register myself into this particular service registry. And what I will do, I will have this particular, annotation enable Eureka client if we are using Eureka service registry. And then what happened? This makes sure that I am the client for the Eureka, and then I will be having the heartbeat keep sending that I am alive, and so that Eureka knows that this client is heartbeat are coming. So I know that Eureka knows that yeah, this guy is available, and it is registered. And if anytime this client goes, then it will not receive the heartbeat, then it will deregister from the Eureka service registry. So that is generally happens. So that is the one option where each client has to maintain enable Eureka client. The problem with this thing, the each client has to do this implementation. If you go into different language, then again you need to change. So that is the only challenge, but otherwise it's a very easy way and very easy to develop. Then second option comes is the third party registration option, where client don't have to do anything, but in between you will have a registrar, where what registrar will do, all the clients associated to this service registry will be done or managed by this service registrar. And service registrar, the client don't have to come, but service registrar, the client will make the entry, and then service registrar will go back to the service registrar and say, hey, this client is down, this is available. All this is done by service registrar. So you don't need to worry. The service registry don't need to worry that how clients are behaving, what are the things, and all of these things. So that's the way you can register your services. Okay, let me see if there is any. Okay, nothing. People are there. Cool. Okay. Fine. Okay. So yeah. So this way you can probably register your services, and then yeah, this whole section today I have covered. Let me recap. What is the summary? So we covered what is the microservices, what are the monolithic architecture. We are just running out of time now because it is just 40-minute meeting now. So yeah, that's why I'm just wrapping it up. But in the next section, we will cover the remaining part. So what we are having, like we will be covering what is the microservices, what is monolithic, that we covered. Then we saw the difference, advantage, disadvantage, and how we are using. And then we saw the big mind map. I told about myself, and then we went to the service discovery. That was our main topic today: service discovery and registry, how they are aligned, what are the types of service discovery, client side and server side, how you will discover, and then you will how you will register your services. This is the very basic thing. Now in the next section, I will try to cover how you will do everything through code, and we will deploy that service into our local, and I will show you the running application. And then we will go to the next part, API gateway and different pattern. But it's just beginning, and I thought it's just series basically. We can't cover in this 40 minutes. And yeah, I think that's it for today. Please let me know if more questions, and connect to our these are the pages. You can connect on our website. You go to our YouTube channel, and all the private Facebook group or Telegram channel, all is available. Whatever queries or concern you have, please discuss there. Write your queries. We will make sure that we will call you. I will call you, or I will reply on each message to you and get it resolved. And if there is more question, please keep pinging me. And also I want to say before wrapping it up that if any, my goal is like, to help you to grow further. And don't worry, it's a long journey. I will make sure that you all will learn wonderful. It is more kind of one-on-one mentoring program. It's not like, some courses you go through and then you never like, finish those courses. But instead of that, here what we will do, we will go through and I will handhold and we'll make sure you cover. I'm planning to have different hackathons and different type of events, and we'll make sure that you become expert in doing all these things practically instead of learning. And then I will have some mentorship program where we will go in workshops and finish all these projects one by one. But yeah, that's it for this session today. And thank you for joining. Please let me know or put in chat if more questions to me. Otherwise, I will go uh, in next. So yeah, thank you, Priya. Thanks for joining. And yeah, I know it's like a little new to you guys, and you might be new to the microservices. But I will make sure that you all are like understanding, and slowly we will. Thank you, Aris, and thank you all of you. Yeah. Thanks, Priya and Arus, for lovely comments. And I will make sure that we all you all get a lot of value out of this session. If this is our first session, it's just beginning. That's what I can say. There are so much more is going to come to you. So thank you for today, and I will then stop sharing now, and we'll see you in the next week's session. Then thank you. Where is my